This is Unregular Radio.
Back live, Two Hotheads.
Where activism happens.
Unregularradio.com. That was Nirvana.
Yeah.
Hot Shape Box.
I believe so.
That was
awesome.
Classic track right there. So we got a guest on the telephone here. His name is Pasha Roberts. He's a director and producer, and currently he is working on a project known as Silver Circle, which is a feature animated feature film that's showing. It's in theaters right now, and is about to be on video on demand services on about 15 platforms. So he's someone that's been an award-winning person. Started in the corporate animation, and decided to go with his passion and go with his heart and start doing fictional storytelling. And his first animated web series called Save Sunny actually brought in over 2.5 million views on Reason TV, and it received awards from the Amsterdam Film Festival, Animated Film Festival, and the Accolade Festival. And also something called Something Awesome, which is something awesome, right?
Yeah.
So everyone say hey to
sir.
Pasha. How you doing?
Awesome. Great to talk with you guys, and I'm sorry I couldn't come into the studio today. I hear it's an amazing studio over there.
It is. It's hot.
Yeah, it's very warm today.
It's a sauna / studio.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And we do have a lot of people listening in too here at the studio. Where are you calling in from, Pasha?
I'm up in New Hampshire this weekend. So
awesome. So are you from New Hampshire, the Boston area?
no, I'm mostly from Cambridge, so I'm right across the river. We're martial law, all that stuff. We're famous.
That's my city. I was right in the middle of it too, so I'm your neighbor. Tell us about this movie that's coming out. Frank told me a bit about it. It sounds very, very interesting and right up our alley. So tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we've been working on it really hard for about 4 years now, but it's and I'm so psyched it's out in time. So, I mean, basically it's there's plenty of documentaries and stuff about the Federal Reserve and about money and all that, and we decided not to add to that genre, but to have more fun with it and to do more of a storytelling thing, which, like you said, is kind of closer to the heart. So, what this is actually a thriller romance, car chases and explosions and romance and you name it. All that is, but it's a story about heavy economic collapse, about a bunch of rebels fighting the Federal Reserve. And so, the bad guys of the Federal Reserve, the good guys are the rebels, and there's a whole cat and mouse game between, the feds chasing him down, and it's a fun story. The agent that's chasing him down gets quickly complicated with the beautiful rebels, and it gets complicated and fun.
That sounds awesome. And so you actually had a screening of this in Boston a few months back, right? And you guys actually ended up selling out. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we were sold out. We were at Landmark Theaters, just right in Kendall Square, and we've been all over the place. I think we've been in like 12, 13 cities now, and all over the country. And but yeah, the last Boston one sold out. We filmed it right here in Cambridge, so there's a lot of local talent, a lot of people that that you may have seen on stage or in projects in town that were right in the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you were right there, right next to me where I am. MIT, it is on MIT campus right there, that Kendall Square movie theater, and right near Harvard. And Cambridge, to me, is like the hub. I know a lot of people think of it as a socialist city, but I think of it as a really awesome place because you have a lot of smart people, but also a lot of working class people in this area, and to get it out there, I think that's really cool that you were able to get some truth in that theater, and a lot of good films are shown in that theater. So that's awesome.
Yeah, Boston. I mean, Cambridge has got more variety than people outside of Cambridge know about. But we're looking forward to keeping it real and entertaining some people. It's a fun show.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like I read, a little bit about your bio and stuff like that. And so what how exactly did you get started? Like, did you go to when you were working for doing the corporate stuff? Like, what sort of stuff was that?
Basically, what I had a long history of computer programming and system stuff too. But my graduate degree was in finance from MIT, and I did the thesis on visualization as like a 3D computer video game interface for trading, and decided really that what people need was kind of better visual descriptions of what's going on, and started the studio basically to start making shorter videos for more to describe, allocation strategies or, complicated stuff. And, over time it kind of evolved into more political stuff and more, the economics, and I think the 2008 economic cycle just pissed me off and made me feel like, people just don't understand the economics of what's going on in the world, and we started looking for ways to actually create content in that vein. Yeah, and we've stayed there.
I mean, that is very interesting, and kind of what I was already thinking of, the next question, where to go, because a lot of us are kind of in a system, and a lot of people are going to college, and they have all these costs to live their daily lives, whether it's the education loans, and to eat, and the rent, and the health care, and the benefits, and the job, but you also have other interests that you want to get into, and a lot of times, like politics, where Frank and I are right now, is we're lucky actually that we now have good day jobs that we can actually do without breaking our own conscience, I think, in a lot of respects. How are you doing it? How are you able to, because I think a lot of us want that. They want the independence. They want to be successful, but they also want the support. How are you able to juggle that?
Got to survive,
Any advice that you have for people out there looking to do their own thing and make these choices between the corporate world in the individual world that we want?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. I mean, we are, a small studio, and we're just trying to get it to play out, and so definitely you have a lot more flexibility in a smaller company. It's definitely sometimes more volatile, but it's and it's less of a machine. You get to do more a variety of things, like you're going to in an activist kind of role. So I guess that's the main thing, and then if you can see enough of it, and and find a way to kind of grow it up, you can make it an interesting business. I think there's a whole market there. We're finding out. We're kind of betting that there's activists or politically engaged people that are interested in this kind of material, and we're trying to sell it out there now that we've created it.
Yeah,
and that's what we're trying to find.
Yeah. There's actually, and like the people that are into that and are looking for it are right now, gathering in 26 cities across the country today, because today actually is the National End the Fed Day.
That's right. So,
yeah. So right now, actually, people, activists, people who care about these issues, are massing on Federal Reserves and educating the public, and it's just the 5th year that folks have really been, doing it. And last summer here in Boston, we had a huge End the Fed rally with about 200 and some odd people there. Great event,
Awesome. Was that the one when you served the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, we served the Fed with an eviction notice.
Frank is an amazing activist. He got
come on.
The Boston Police. He with his humor and his grace and his intelligence, was able to get the Boston Police to serve an eviction notice to the Federal Reserve for us.
Yeah, you got the Boston Police to do it. That's awesome.
Well, I got the cops didn't want to let us. Excuse me, the police didn't want to let us go past this certain barrier or whatever. He was like, you can't go past there. And I'm like, buddy, I was really hoping to, give him this. That's kind of the whole point of this. And the guy goes, all right, hold on a minute. And he goes over and he talks to this dude who looked like just some old guy that was sitting on like the bench over near the Fed. And he goes and says a couple words to that guy, and all of a sudden a Federal Reserve security guard comes out. And we served him, and it was awesome.
Yeah, they took it in person, and then they allowed us to place it on the glass, too, which was cool.
And it was kind of like,
it was a great moment, educational and video-wise, and those are the things that I think that. What do you expect to happen for this movie? Like moments like that for us are awesome, but we always wonder how far with this can we truly go. What are your goals with this movie and your movies in general?
Yeah, I mean, because we have a whole sequel, and there's a whole plan sort of beyond this. But I mean, I feel like this is a interesting entry point for people to start to understand this kind of thing. I'm definitely interested in entertaining the choir, but I sort of want to get beyond the choir, as it were, and to have people have a good time with the movie and watch it, and then look it up and say, hey, this is the bad guy in this movie is actually real, and they've been around for 100 years, and it's kind of there's history there. The rabbit hole runs very deep, so we're just trying to be a nice way to kind of introduce that to regular people, because we're not going to read Murray Rothbard book if you hand it to them. So
I know who Murray Rothbard is, and I'm still not reading his book.
Me too.
He's funny too, but it's not for everybody right at start. So that's what we're trying to do. There's lots of things we mix into it. We definitely, mix in all kinds of different politics or conspiracy things into the whole thing. Like we legalized pot, for example, in 2019. We figured, it could easily happen by then, so we put that in there. And so there's all kinds of little tweaks we have throughout the whole movie. It's just full of Easter eggs like that.
That's cool. So tell us a little bit more about what exactly Silver Circle is, because that's something that is kind of its own entity, correct? Like in of itself, as far as activism and making things happen.
Silver Circle, the movie, is there's all kinds of aspects to it. I mean, where there's a very active blog called Silver Underground, and there's just always a lot going on in there. People arguing and having fun on there. A lot of thoughtful blog stuff that crosses from pop culture and comics over to to the politics and money. So it's kind of this interesting range that you don't find anywhere else. But mostly with the movie, we're reaching out to join the different communities together, and trying to get people to come out to the movie and enjoy it. That's our focus. There's also a comic book. We go out to comic book conventions. We and talk to people in big furry costumes, and it's fun. So.
Did some LARPing, tried to push the.
Yeah.
As long as you're not getting furries.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get Frank in one of them.
I think last time I was in New York, I've a bunch of furries were tickling my belly on the floor.
Oh no.
That's intense.
Yeah, the furries are really the last refuge. They're the ones that are the outcasts still.
Oh, poor,
awesome.
poor. So, will folks be able to buy silver rounds and things like that at the screening?
Yeah. I mean, basically, the movie's name comes from the fact that the rebels make their own money out of silver. They're called silver circles, and the reason that silver is there instead of bitcoins or tin or steel or paper is that there's only so much silver in the world, like gold, and you can't fake it like printing paper money. And so it's in a heavy economic crash, that's almost like the last recourse. It's like guerrilla currency that doesn't disappear with inflation. So that's what they're doing, and aside from all the shenanigans they do with the Federal Reserve, it's really the worst thing that the Federal Reserve can. The worst thing they can do to the Federal Reserve is to compete with them and make their own money.
That's it. And I think, I always ask this question about currency and the way that we finance transactions. I used to be a financial advisor, and this always interests me. Silver, I think, is an awesome way to do that. I also look at barter, and I also question why aren't more of us creating barter systems to finance, to trade, to create currency locally, like they do have in Wisconsin, in Madison, Wisconsin. They have the Madison hours, Ithaca hours. There's different systems to trade and finance locally. Why don't we have those in all the big local cities like Cambridge, like Boston, like in Massachusetts, all over New England? Why don't we have those?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of those are based on the dollar itself, so that when the dollar tanks, they're going to go down with it. There's not the hours-based ones. Are not, they're based on basically on labor.
Yes.
So those are cool. But if it's just based on being 90 cents out of a dollar or something like that, then it's just as inflation prone as anything else. I'm definitely the economic there's all kinds of economic Easter eggs in the movie, but the underpinning of it really is just if there's different currencies that compete against each other, then people can survive, and people don't have to be killed by inflation. So
Absolutely.
I'd like to ask a question. This is a little bit off topic, but we have a guest on the show, Maine State Rep Diane Russell, all the time, and she's actually bringing up a bill. That's the second time she's proposed a bill, I believe.
I believe, yes. At least
for a state bank, for a state bank of Maine.
Cool.
Yeah. Just curious. Basically, I'm sure that you understand how a state bank would work, but basically the state bank would loan to municipalities and to the state at just about zero interest, right?
Instead of borrowing it from the banks.
Yeah, instead of borrowing
creating
it
their
from
own
a JP
money.
Morgan or BOA or what have you.
Which is the Federal Reserve System.
Yeah.
Ultimately, no matter what.
Yeah.
So they would go outside the Federal Reserve System.
They wouldn't create their own currency, but they would. So they would be
Finance.
but they would finance their own. So it would be a little bit of a different animal. What's your take on state banks?
I forget. There's one that's more out west.
North Dakota.
What's that?
I think it's
Yeah,
in
North Dakota, and they're doing really well.
Yeah, it really just depends on how prone they are to doing the weird stuff that Federal Reserve does. In terms of loaning out bailing out cronies, and doing some of the clear, almost illicit kinds of things that they're doing.
Sure.
And so it's. I'm definitely more of a proponent of currency that comes from the people or comes from private entities than a bank which is going to be politically influenced. But there's a couple of them that have been really interesting, and the more it can get away from the federal level, the better. So that's part of the problem, is that it's just so big, and no state is going to create money in order to create a war. So a lot of the history of central banking comes from people trying to finance, whether it's British colonialism or Iraq or something like that, and Maine's not going to do that.
Well, yeah, but it's just like you said. There's people that will have agendas, and try to support their policy, or push the bank, to have a policy or take action to support people's agendas, But that's like with anything else. It's fair to say that that sort of thing would happen with private, money and things like that. That there's always going to be that human element of corruption that isn't really ever going to go away.
Yeah, and so that's partially why we did the silver in the movie, just because things in the movie are so corrupt at that point that you really can't trust what's there except for what's in your hand, and you can tell it and weigh it, and that is real silver. So it's safer in that sense when things are really gone down the hill. There's probably other ways of doing it. Bitcoin's pretty interesting at this point too. But
what happens when the internet goes out? Like, what happens when there's no internet? Where are your bitcoins?
I know.
You know what I mean? Well, I've got all this money, but my internet's down. Oh, the government shut off the internet. Where's my money?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, if bandwidth is controlled and, power is on. Often in these financial crises, power's on and off all the time. You may have power 3 hours a day. There's a lot of things that happen when things go really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're facing, what we're dealing with here, And so when exactly is the screening going to be? It's going to be the first Thursday, right, in June?
Yeah, it'll be June 4th at 7 o'clock at Kendall Square Theater, and it should be a lively crowd. People laugh and cry and have fun with it. So it's always a cool showing.
Say that again. Was that a Saturday?
No, it's a Thursday. It's a Tuesday. I'm sorry, it's Tuesday, June 4th.
Oh, Tuesday.
And it's say the time again.
Tuesday, June 4th, 7 o'clock.
Awesome. I think we might have to take that night off, Frank.
I think we might have to come down there and check it out. I meant to come to the last one, but I didn't end up making it. But I definitely want to see it. I definitely want to come out and support. And I know that you folks do good work. For always, and I've seen you put out there with the, like you said, the comic books and the silver rounds on the that you were passing out. Or actually, we gave a few away the last time around. Megan Renee donated some for the last in the Fed rally. We did a raffle and gave some of those away.
Yeah, Megan's awesome. She's been just nonstop activism.
Absolutely, she's pretty serious on the bullhorn too. So we'd love to get her in here on the show sometime, because she definitely knows what she's talking about. So I want everybody to go out and check out the screening on June 4th, starting at 7 in Kendall Square. And thank you very much, Pasha, for coming on the show. We'd love to have you on again. If you have anything you want to plug as far as websites and anything, let people know how they can get in contact with you. And just thanks a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with movies at Silver Circle at silvercirclemovie.com. So silvercirclemovie.com is where you can find out all about it and all the events and screenings. You can also see silverunderground.com if you're interested in the political angle that's going on in there. But you don't have to be into the politics to have a great time with the movie. And it's all animated too, so it's a really, there's not a lot of indie animated theaters out there. So we're fighting the fight as a small indie theater.
An avant-garde on all fronts.
Yeah, a movie I will like. I can't wait to see this movie.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. So everyone go check that out. And like I said, thank you very much for coming on. You're welcome back any time. And we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back. If you want to give a call, talk about Silver Circle movie, talk about Moms for Marijuana, talk about stupid doctors with kind of difficult to pronounce last names.
Yeah.
Then you can
Edelman.
Edelman.
And then we also have Spocket still here.
That's right.
I keep saying that. Moms for Marijuana.
That's right.
We'll do a little quick speed round that we promised you earlier, and we'll be back with her.
Two hotheads.
By an overwhelming vote, medical marijuana is now legal in Massachusetts. In conjunction with a team of Massachusetts pain management doctors, a brand new evaluation center is now open, conveniently located on Comm Ave in Brighton. Appointments are filling fast, so please call 800-557-5699 or visit thcevaluation.com to learn more or to schedule an appointment today. That's 800-557-5699 or thcevaluation.com.